Since the invention of photography around 1830, it has proven to be an immensely important tool for investigating and documenting history. In this video, we will go back to 1918 and gather the most striking images from the past 103 years, a century marked by significant scientific advancements, wars, and mass cultural relations. The majority of us, as humans, are visual creatures, and there is no doubt that seeing historical photos of past events makes them feel much more real than simply hearing about them. To understand what life was like 100 years ago, these images cannot go unnoticed. During the 1918 influenza epidemic, quarantine centers and emergency military hospitals like this one in Camp Funston, Kansas, were built at various outposts in the United States. 1/3 of the world's population was infected, and at least 50 million people died, 675,000 in the United States alone, making the Spanish flu one of the deadliest outbreaks in human history. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter examined King Tut's mummy. He discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun, a large ancient Egyptian burial chamber containing a young pharaoh that was shrouded in mystery. The tomb revealed new archaeological mysteries while solving others. The Empire State Building, towering 1,250 feet over Manhattan, was constructed between 1930 and 1931 during 7 million working hours. During construction, the skeletal structure had a vertical framework composed of 210 steel columns, which could only be raised 30 floors at a time. Crowds gathered to watch as workers, without proper safety precautions, freely moved around the cranes and beams. 5 workers died during the building's construction, attributed to the lack of safety measures. The infamous Nuremberg rallies, where gatherings of the National Socialist Party took place, were held on an 11-square-kilometer amphitheater-style property designed by Nazi architect Albert Speer. Today, the site has been converted into a visitor center, where tourists can see the space and learn more about life under Adolf Hitler's regime. An icon of the American Great Depression, a period of chronic economic decline worldwide during the 1930s. It is one of the most famous photos in the United States. Dorothea Lange's photograph expresses a profound emotional impact. The wrinkles on the mother's face demonstrate despair and anguish. Florence Owens Thompson, 32 years old, appears devastated for not having enough food to feed her children. In 1937, 36 passengers and crew members died when the Hindenburg airship, the largest ever built, caught fire in the air. The event gave rise to the phrase, "Oh, the humanity," after NBC radio announcer Herb Morrison exclaimed it on air. This iconic photo was taken as the aircraft was engulfed in flames. On August 14, 1945, Japan surrendered to the Allied forces, marking the end of World War II. As news of the surrender spread, Americans took to the streets to celebrate. Photographer Alfred Eisenstaedt captured the iconic image of a sailor kissing a woman in Times Square, which first appeared in Life magazine and instantly became one of the most recognized photos in the world. On June 2, 1953, Princess Elizabeth was crowned Queen Elizabeth II in a publicly televised ceremony at Westminster Abbey. The monarch succeeded her father, King George VI, who died at the age of 56. Apollo 11 spacecraft reached lunar orbit on July 19, 1969. When Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface, he declared, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In this NASA photo, fellow astronaut Buzz Aldrin walks on the surface during the mission. One of the most famous photographs in history was taken on August 8, 1969, immortalizing not only the Beatles but also Scottish photographer Ian McMillan, who captured the moment outside Abbey Road Studios in London. 6 photos were taken. Sources from that time report that McMillan had only 10 minutes to capture the musicians crossing the pedestrian crosswalk. It is also said that Lennon said, "Let's quickly take this photo and get out of here. We should be recording the album instead of posing for silly pictures." On January 28, 1986, NASA's Space Shuttle Challenger exploded 73 seconds after liftoff. The tragedy claimed the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. If the mission had been successful, teacher Krista McAuliffe would have been the first civilian in space. Known as the Tank Man, a mysterious young man stood in front of a column of Chinese tanks, forcing them to stop, during the protests in Tiananmen Square in Beijing on June 5, 1989. On November 9, 1989, after 28 years, the East Berlin Communist Party announced that citizens of East Germany could cross the border wall. Residents descended to the streets that night, shouting, "Open the gate."
Explore the captivating images that have shaped history and defined our world. From the devastating epidemics to monumental achievements, these photos hold the power to transport us back in time. Join us on this visual journey through the past and gain a deeper understanding of our shared human experience. Don't miss out on the opportunity to uncover the stories behind these iconic moments. Subscribe now for more fascinating content and let us continue exploring the fascinating tapestry of our collective history together. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. Remember, history awaits.